We can start. All right, so welcome everyone. I hope that we've had an amazing day. We're going straight into it since it's 9 o'clock already. 56 participants. That's surprisingly low. Yeah, not surprisingly actually, because I've taken one free course one time and there were like 300, and then like 40 people showed up. So not surprising. But anyways, let's go right into it. I'm going to be taking you through the layout of the Canva platform. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, you can see my screen here.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, guys. I'm hearing more people's voices. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you log in. If you have an account, right? Once you log in, this is what you see. And Canva is really intuitive in the sense that everything is kind of laid out. So there'll be recommended stuff depending on, obviously based on what most people do, right? There's social media, if what you want to do is social media related. So you just come here, you find something to pick. Maybe you want an animated social media, you click here. If you want to do an Instagram post, you click your story, TikTok background, Facebook cover, highlights, blog banner, almost anything you want to do. Yeah. So this is just like basic categorization. Yeah. And when you welcome you have a different quote every time to inspire you. All right. So I'm going to start with working on a design for a fashion brand. Yeah, a fashion brand like someone interested. I can't remember the name. So I'm going to take you from scratch how I would typically go through that kind of thing, right? Almost every single time, the first thing I'll do is go on. Wait, can you guys see every single thing on my tab?
Yes, we can.
Oh, nice. Wow, same for previously. Okay, so let me. All right. So typically, if I was going to design a flyer, first thing I'll do is Google fashion brand flyer. Yeah. Like I said, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You just look out for what people have done, edit it, come up with something nicer. Most times, it will be easier to do Pinterest. So, Pinterest has more like really professionally looking things. So, let's just say I want to Google fashion banner. Yeah. Now, like I said yesterday, I'm going to like deconstruct a banner and just help you understand the kind of things that go into what it looks like. Yeah. So I'm trying to find one that works for the purpose of this class. Okay, so let's just look at this, yeah? I'm sure you can easily notice the alignments. Everything here is center aligned, right? And the way they've conditioned your mind, the first thing you see is 30%, then autumn sale and special offer, because that is what the emphasis was. So they want you to see 30% first of all, yeah? And then the autumn sale and then special offer. Obviously, they will use 30% because they know that's something that people are going to think of discounts or, it just resonates with that part of human beings that wants free stuff. Do you get? So that's why, for example, if you see my class when I said, apart from when you're even visually designing, if you see my class when I was talking about a free Canva class. If you notice, free was in caps, right? Because that's something that people resonate with. Oh my God, it's free. You know, if I said Canva class online, people will see it and probably pass it off. So there's still some level of intentionality that you have to put into the kind of things that you even write, but that's not what we're focusing on. But just looking at this, you can tell that everything is centralized in the middle and aligned, okay? Let's look at another design. And you also want to design based on the type of fashion brand that you're designing for. So let's check Google and just look at the kind of things that we'll see. So obviously in this banner, the first thing you see is new arrivals just for you, right? And then maybe this and this, because your eyes will typically go to the biggest item. So when you're designing a banner, when you see this, for example, the first thing your eye sees up to 50%. After up to 50%, next thing your eyes go to is Baji, because those are the two biggest things. Do you get? And when it comes to creating a composition, a layout for how your design should look like, obviously, if it's fashion brand, you don't want to have only text. Also, there's a type of text you want to use for a fashion brand. I'll help you understand basic typography later on, but just to take you on the composition bit. So especially for the person that said one of the most difficult parts is actually arranging everything, right? So don't forget alignment. If you look at this, everything is left aligned. And another thing that I always want to point out, and Canva actually literally helps you figure that out, is the space around it. For two reasons. One, when you have space around your design, it actually just makes it more breathable, right? Two is that if you're going to print it, it's good to have space, because when they trim where they're printing, you need some space around it. So, but the first reason is more important because most of you might not even try to print what you're designing, but you just want to have it for social media, yeah? So look at this banner. You have your picture, okay? And you have your logo, you have minor details, and this is the catchphrase. This is like the punchline. So that's what's going to be the biggest thing. And then you have here your date and time and location, those type of things. Contact details, basically. So contact details are the smallest. And the idea is that if the banner is inviting enough to captivate your attention, you would actually look for the date and time. You would look for the contacts. Do you get the idea behind it? That's why even though you want them to call you, you don't put your phone number as the biggest thing on the banner. Do you get? Because, I mean, that's not appealing to anyone. Sorry, let me know if I'm breaking. Let me know if you can still hear me clearly.
Yeah, very clearly.
We can hear you clearly.
Okay, cool, thank you.
We can hear you.
All right, so, okay, thank you. All right, so if you look at this, for example, the exact same thing I mentioned, the biggest thing here is new arrivals. That's what they want you to see first. And then up to 40% discount is the next thing that you see, right? And then the details. Obviously, a picture around it, and then the logo. So it's the same idea. The biggest thing should be, the most catchy thing should be the biggest thing. And then all the other details will follow in that hierarchy. So imagine that you have, let's say, 3 levels. And let me show you how intuitive Canva is in relation to that. When you come to create a design, yeah, and let's say I want to design an Instagram post. Okay. When you get to the part where you want to add text, you see what Canva does. It actually helps you with that thing I talked about, hierarchy, heading, subheading, and a little bit of body text. So obviously, your heading is going to be the most important information, right? It doesn't have to be this font, obviously, but it's just giving you a sense of hierarchy. How big should the most important thing be? How large should the most important thing be? How medium should the next most important thing be? And how small should the least important thing be? Yeah, not important in sense of use for the viewer, but important in sense of what is going to attract the viewer. All right. So let's just typically practicalize that, right? Imagine the name of what we're doing is for a fashion brand. Let's say the name of our fashion brand is Ennis. I think I designed the brand Ennis, called Ennis. Okay, so what's the fashion brand saying? Let's take a cue from one of these designs, right? Let's assume that we want to adapt this, right? Now, I'm teaching you how to design from scratch outside Canva. So somebody mentioned this yesterday on Monday. I'm teaching you how to design from scratch without using a template, right? So obviously, if you want to do that, you're going to look outside Canva. And the idea is that you want your designs to have a feel of not the regular Canva design, in quotes. Yeah. So let's assume that I want to go with this. You can see the layout, picture, elements, text and elements, text, and then text with another element. Yeah, and then logo here. All right. So we're going to adapt this layout, but our design is not going to look like this. Okay. So let's assume that we're having the exact same text, right? And we are saying new arrivals, special brand for you, up to 40% discount, and then the logo. Okay. So let's do that. New arrivals will be the biggest thing, of course. Can I get feedback if you're following me and if you understand so far?
I understand.
I understand.
I understand.
Good, good. Wow, I like that. I like that. Thank you for the feedback. All right. So I don't know if it's bothersome to be telling you shortcuts, but if you want to, there are shortcuts. So if you want to be increasing the text without actually clicking it, you can press Command Shift and greater than, right? If you're on Mac, and it should be Control Shift greater than if you're on Windows. Yeah. But let's just leave all of that aside because we're focusing on something else entirely. Yeah. Now, obviously, because it's a fashion brand, we will not use this type of font. I will share a document with us on the group to help us understand how to use fonts. Because of time, I won't go through that now. Yeah, I'll go over that maybe in the next class. But for now, let's just assume that I know what I'm doing and I know the kind of font to use for a fashion brand. Okay, typically you use a serif font. Okay, so just type serif. Yeah. First of all, Canva already has templates for you. Okay, so if you don't want to have to go through all this wahala, you can actually just click here. It's going to come in. And what do? Edit it. First, you have to ungroup this. Ungroup is right here up. Delete this. And you see how it naturally gives you a sense of hierarchy. This is big and this is small. Do you get? So follow the intuition of Canva. If you're not a designer by yourself, just follow the leading of Canva. Okay. So I'm going to delete this. I'll bring this here and I'll make this new arrivals. Now I'm kind of killing two stones with one bird because if you notice, the design that we are referring to is in portrait. So that design can work for maybe Insta stories and stuff like that, but this is square. So I'm kind of trying to adapt that design into this size, okay? Oh, new arrivals, not new arrivals, okay? So I'm going to delete this. This is a more fashion related font. Mainstream, yeah, depending on the brand, your brand might actually have a different vibe entirely. So this is not like a rule or a law. All right, so we have new arrivals. What else? Special brand for you. Now, if you see what they did here, new is bigger than arrivals, but you can see arrivals and new together, right? So you can actually adapt to that as well, okay? Now, if you want to increase it, it's going to increase everything together except to highlight new, okay? So another thing that you can even do is change the font of new, yeah? So let's say if you want to change fonts directly without having to use all these templates, you come here. This is where the fonts are. So Playfair displays the type of font. And we click here, and let's just say serif. Okay? Because I want a serif font, but I want a different type of serif font apart from this. Yeah? So let's say I'm going to pick Rasputin. Right? New arrivals. Yeah? This works. I don't just like the way this font looks, so I'm going to change it. I think this is another problem, trying to find the exact same font. Honestly, if you're a beginner, don't stress. Just follow the leading of many designs that have gone ahead of you. So let me just act like I'm a designer, right? So this is a script font, new, right? So let me just adapt that. So all these things I mentioned in script, serif, all those things, I'll send you a document that will help you explain what they are. Okay. So let me change this. New arrivals, yeah. But I want a more dramatic font. So it means I'll have to make this less dramatic. Now, there's another thing that I haven't categorically mentioned, and it's balance, right? Balance in the sense that you don't want everything to be too busy. If something is light, you can make the one beside it dark. If something is bold, you can make the one beside it light. If something is really fanciful, you can make the one that is next to it really plain. Do you get? So it's just that interesting balance. So I want to change this serif font. I'm going to still use the serif font, but I want to change it to a more conservative serif font that doesn't have all these dramatic elements around it. Okay. So let me find something light. Oh, slab serif. No, I meant serif, not slab serif. Okay. Singular. Okay, I didn't select it. Highlight it, sorry. Okay, yeah, but it doesn't look interesting. Still doesn't cut it. Huge thing. So these are most of the typical time wasters when you're designing, trying to find the exact font that is going to work. You know what? Since I'm following this leading and I'm not trying to be inventive. Okay, so they actually used a serif font. Let me just find a light serif font. Let me see this. Yeah, I think this will work, but let me just pick another one. It's always a difficult thing to do. Why is it bold? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, because bold and italic were highlighted already. Yeah. So I'm going to stick to this. Yeah. New arrivals. I'll make this big. Now, if I want to make it very similar to that, because Canva is, sorry, I'll have to separate them. Yeah. New is Maldina script. So I'll change this. If they're in a group, it's difficult to move both of them together. So, and how to move is you click on this green box. Sometimes it's going to show the square depending on how big it is. Or sometimes it just actually activate. Somebody's raising a hand. Okay, if you want to ask a question, actually just like speak on your microphone. Okay.
Sorry, how have you been on grouping?
On grouping, when two things are grouped, you see group here.
Yeah.
If you want group, you click on group.
Okay. I think I've seen that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So so I'm going to change this back to a serif font. Aha, okay. So this is good, yeah? Now, if I want this to look very similar to what that one looks like, where it's kind of laid out in not exactly aligned, but harmonized. Do you get? So this is a fine line between bending the rules and sticking to the rule. If I was going to stick to the rule completely, it's still going to work out nice, actually. What I'll do is position center, right? It's going to be centralized and it's going to look fine. Do you get? So you know what? For the sake of, because many people here are basic, I'll stick to this, yeah? So new arrivals, see that took so long. Next, I want to add an image, okay? So let me go through this layout very briefly. Up here, you have templates. This is where you find templates. Just search for whatever you're looking for. Birthday party. That you find. So just search for anything. You find anything. So uploads is where everything you upload comes up to. So you can see that this is where I made my slides. So all the things I uploaded for my slides are here. Yeah. So you can see that now. Okay. Photos. These are photos that Canva will provide you with. So you can just search for the type of photos you're looking for. If it's food, search for food. Food is going to show up. If it's money, search for money. Money is going to show up. If it's love, search for love. Love will show up. Well, you can't find love on Canva. Well, you can actually. You can find love on Canva. Let me know the streets. So elements now. Elements are where you find all those things: shapes, colors, brushes, all manner of different random things, squares, circles. I'm going to take you through my slide so you see exactly how I did it, right? Just maybe after class if you're interested in seeing that, right? So now what we want to do is we want to use a frame. A frame is kind of like a container for putting in a picture, okay? So, and if you see the style of this picture, you can see that it has this really brushy effect. Now it's difficult to achieve this exact same kind of thing on Canva, so we want to find something that's remotely similar, okay? So if you want to see more, just click on see all. It's going to show you every single frame that is available, okay? So we're going to scroll down till we find something that looks, very similar to what we are looking for, okay? So we can either pick any of these three. So I think I'll pick this, okay? Now, what this means is, the way it's showing like this, it means that if I want to put a picture, so I said it's like a container, yeah? Now with a container, what you need to do is you fill in it with something, fill it in with something, because this is blank. So it's because it's blank, it's showing sky and sea, right? It's kind of like in the beginning when God created heavens and grass, heavens and earth, sorry, not grass. Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to add? Fashion. No, I'm searching in templates wrong. So I should be searching in photos. Yeah, fashion. Now, this is another tip. If you don't want your design to look like typical Canva designs, just go online and search for the kind of picture you're looking for and bring it into Canva, okay? Because most of the lazy people will be searching for things on their, okay. Searching for everything on Canva. So if you want to get the extra sauce, you have to go outside. So what are we going to use? I'm just going to find a nice image that works. There are a list of sites where you can find free images. Some of these images are copyrighted, so I'm not going to use them. Let me go to Unsplash. Okay, so I'm just going to search fashion. Okay, I think I want some, yeah, so I think this is nice. It shows their face and shows the clothes. So there are two ways you can download the image to save on your laptop, and you can go through all of that, but I don't think I have time for that. I'm just going to copy image. Yeah, that's actually how I work most times. Since it's Canva, the resolution doesn't necessarily have to be high, but if I'm working on like Photoshop, most times I have to download it and blah, blah, blah. Depending on the use. If you want it printed, you want to use a high resolution image. If you want it just for social media, you don't necessarily need that, okay? So I'm just going to paste Ctrl V, and voila, our image is here. Sorry. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll drag this on top of the image, and there you have it, it's in already, yeah? But there's something I want to do before I do that. I want to adjust the positioning of this shape to be a little more, to just have a little more space up and down. And I want the really, now, because I want more picture to show up here, I'm going to bring this down to my left, right? And allow this to take more space. Honestly, your image is going to, your designs will do better with good image, well, like good enough image space, okay? So I'm going to drag this in, yeah? Now, this is the problem. Image has rotated along with it. So now I have to rotate it. If you want to zoom out, this is what you do. You click on zoom. Here is 25. Okay, so let's move zoom in. Okay, so I think this thing is really rigid. It's more rigid than I imagined. So I'm going to change the frame. Okay, so we can actually just change the location, to be honest. Yeah. So we have new arrivals. Now, another interesting thing with Canva, for those of you who always have issues with colors, when you import an image, right, Canva comes in with almost all the colors in that image, okay? So I haven't gone to the color part of Canva yet, but just watch. Let me rotate this a little, so you can show a little more of this, okay? Now, so we have new arrivals as the biggest thing here, yeah? So let me zoom in a little more. Fit instead, maybe. Yeah, fit is fine. Okay. So this is what it looks like currently. Fashion, fine girls with fine dresses. Yeah. New arrival. So let's go back to our inspiration image. So there's another bit here, discount up to 40%. Okay. So obviously we're going to have that in another place. Now, there's a way you want to make your designs look interesting. Interesting in the sense that, for example, you know how it's possible for them to have written discount up to 40% just as text without this color. Yeah, but it's more interesting when you have this thing behind it. It creates a variation. So you're not just reading image and text on the same background, right? So that's another element that you just start to learn from. You just start to learn. If you're a basic designer, copy a lot, right? Copy a lot, and you're going to be very good. I assure you. I did that, and I'm not bad myself, so I assure you it's going to work. So I'm going to come back to elements because I want a shape. I don't want a color this time. I don't want a frame this time. I want a shape. So I'm going to come to shape. All right. I think for every frame there's a shape. So I'm going to find a shape that is interesting enough, that has the same effect and is not looking like all these squares and Microsoft Word frame art things. So these are all the shapes you have, but we need more, okay? So what we can do is we'll go to frames, yeah? And we use this frame. Let's use this one, okay? Now it means that we're going to fill this frame with something else. Okay, so I haven't tried this before. I want to see if a shape can enter this. Yeah, so a shape can enter only pictures. So simple cheats, just go online and search for, what's the color we're looking for? Wine. Wow, color. Yeah, and I'm picking wine because wine is the color of the dress. Okay, so it just makes sense to use that color. There's going to be no copyright issues, so copy away. And like I said, many times I don't have the energy to have to download the image, so I just copy and paste. So I copy, I paste, Control V, it has appeared. I drag into the shape because it's an image, it's going to drag in, yeah? But obviously this one is darker than this one, so, but they are kind of still wineish. It's not terribly different, so it can still work, yeah? And if you can actually still check here for more shapes under gradients. In gradients, for example, if I was going to use gradients, which is something you can also do, I'll just come to gradients, pick a nice shape. Aha, this will work. Yeah. Let me delete this. I don't think this is too much for just what we want to do. Yeah. So I'll just click this, right? Change the color. Now I told you every image comes with a picture, so every image comes with the colors. Canva would automatically generate the colors for you. So imagine we have the wine, the major wine color here. So I just select this, right, for the first color, and I select this for the second color. It changes to a single color, right? So a gradient is basically a blend of two colors, but if the blend is the same color, it's going to be one color. So that is that. Let's go back to our inspiration image. Discount up to 40%, okay? And notice the hierarchy and the alignment. Discount up to 40%. Discount is small, up to is bigger, 40% is largest, yeah? So let's do that. Text. Add a subheading. Discount. Yeah, now, this is a very interesting thing that I need you to learn. When you see something like this, you know there's a problem because the text is not very visible. I mean, you can see it, but if you want it to be really visible, you want to change the color of this because it doesn't have very good contrast, okay? So you typically want to use a bright color on a dark color or a dark color on a bright color and vice versa, yeah? So I'm going to change this to white. Yeah, so this is more visible than what it was before. Discount. So instead of having to type again, I'm just going to duplicate this. Duplicate button is here. Yeah. Discount up to, should it be in all caps or not? Depends. Whoever your copywriter is. I'm not a very good English person, so yeah, all caps. So let's do that. And yeah, it's better for, it looks nicer that way actually. So let's do that. I don't think we're going to end up using this font, but I just want to teach you how to do the alignment. Don't forget, learn how to copy. Learn how to copy. You will be mightily blessed by doing that. Up to 40%, okay? So 40%, yeah? And you see the way Canva works is already, is literally just guiding you when you're there already. Do you get? So I'm going to change this font to same serif fonts that we use here, CME serif, yeah? So CME serif it is, okay? Now you can see it has changed, so I'm just going to adjust this a little. Now, you might need to use your eyes to visually, okay. So because there was a space in between, that's why it was looking like that. So now, and if you look very closely, you see Canva guiding you so that you are aligning your designs. So right now it's in the middle. And I'm going to do the same for this. I've aligned it to the left, to the right. I'm aligning it to the left now. And we have our design excellently done. Okay. So there you go. Up to 40%. Yeah. So let's go back to where it was before. Honestly, this should be a little difficult if you're using your phone because of all the tiny details, but it's not impossible. You're just going to have to be patient. If you can use a laptop, I would advise you to use. Yeah. So we've done this. What's the next thing? Address, date, and time. Yeah. So now, if you notice, there's this element here, this line, just to create a division between what is up and what is down. It's kind of like, you know, when I explained CRAP, proximity, right? Putting things that are close together. So you can see all of these are together, all of these are together, and all of these are together. And even in this one up are separate together from this one down, right? It's just a good way of creating some interesting elements in your design instead of having everything written down just like that. So here, I'm going to add an element, and where do I go to? I click on element, of course. And I want something like a line. So I'm going to go to lines and see what we have in lines. Yeah, I want something like this because this is kind of the vibe we're dealing with. Or, to be honest, when you do that, if I clicked on this, right, it will work, to be honest. It would actually work. But I don't want it to be too much. Yeah. Sometimes there's no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever you prefer. So I'd rather use a simple one. Yeah. So let me take this out. Use a simple one. It's kind of like that, the idea of making things interesting. You get. But the problem with this kind of thing is you cannot adjust the thickness, and I don't want it to be this thick. So I want to be in control of that. I'm going to click on square, rectangle, or square, and I'll reduce the thickness myself. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to drag it down to as slim as I want it to be. Yeah. Oh my, it's not slimming down. Okay, so obviously that's Canva's limits for slimness. So I'm just going to find a
You can
slimmer.
actually make it thinner, but you won't have to, you can't use you have to use the sides. So you have to use the corner and then kind of like you do like an
Extend it again.
Yeah, then make it closer, then extend it. I don't know if I'm making sense. So yeah,
Yeah.
from that then you can.
Okay. Yeah, I can do this actually. Oh, thank you. I would never have done this. So then how to extend it from the side. Okay.
Yes.
And drag it down. So for some of you, this might be too much already because you're just like, I just really want to do something very simple. To be honest, it doesn't have to be this complex. So once you go to elements, no, colors, sorry, I want to change the color of this because I don't want everything to be gray, to be wine, exactly wine. I want to create some interesting elements in this. So I'm going to go to color. Wow. Okay, I'll change it to this color. Yeah. Zoom it out to say 50% and have my details here. So obviously Canva has helped you with the smallness of the size. So we can do this. Contact me. Okay, so text contact. Now you're going to see that element of organization and proximity in what I'm doing now. Because I want to kind of create a division between, and you see how Canva is just helping you put order into your design by itself. Contact, and then let's see, I'll make this social, for example. Yeah. So I'm going to duplicate this again because I want this to be down. Now, like I said earlier, you want to make your design interesting. So, I mean, it would work because you'll be able to see it, but it won't be very eye-catching if you leave it like that. So I'm going to make this bold. We're using CMU brief, CMU serif. It doesn't seem to have a bold version. So, hold on. Okay. So let me change this to, so what you can do in a case like this, there are different types of fonts that some have really bold versions and some don't, right? So for this, I would want to use DMZ display because it's really bold, yeah? And then I'll use the other CME serif for this, right? So let's see, I want to put my phone number here. 0012345678 social arts. What's the name of this fashion? Emmy's fashion. Well, it shouldn't be in cut, so that's Emmy's fashion, yeah. Now I'm going to align it to be, so you can see how just the element of alignment can change everything for your design. Yeah. So I'm going to bring this down a bit. Okay, yeah. So this thing is coming, thankfully, right? Duplicate this again, align it to the left, or I might as well just write it down and click enter. Align everything to the left. 3 now street. Let's say 2. Any fashion on Instagram, any fashion on Twitter, and blah blah blah. Now remember I told you about space. So next thing is just to change the color of this because I don't think I want them in black. I most likely will. Now let me help you with color choosing a color, right? So let's go to uploads and look at the color wheel. Yeah. Sorry. Oh no, that's not unusual. Okay, so let me just create it on a new page so that you can see it. Yeah. So I've added this to the slides. I'm going to send it to everyone. If you look, you can see two different division. To the left, from this quadrant, are warm, active colors. To the right are cool, passive colors. So many times you want your design to have a mix of both. A passive color with a warm color. Yeah. That's why if you notice, complementary colors, like I said yesterday, are colors that are opposite each other. So if you pick two opposite colors here, every single time going to land with a warm color and a cool color, or a passive color and an active color. Yeah. So where is our cool color here? So we have our color is somewhere around here. Yeah. And this is the complementary color. Now, you don't always have to pick the complementary color depending on the brand and everything. So it's a fashion brand. I don't think I want to see yellow or green. So there are many alternatives for me. Yeah. So let me show you. This. So there are other alternatives. There are split complementary colors. There are monochromatic colors, complementary colors, double complementary. So I explained monochromatic colors. Monochromatic colors are kind of very simple, like this. Okay, hold on. Let me. Monochromatic colors are kind of like something like this, where you have a tint. Yeah, so look at this. Dark, gray, lighter gray to white. So white is a tint of black, and black is a shade of white. Basically, when you keep adding black to white, it starts getting gray. When you start adding white to black, it starts getting white, right? I mean, I don't think this is realistic in real life, but you get the idea. Yeah. So we can actually make this design in that sense. Another thing that you can also do is actually just use all the colors in your image. Honestly, that works almost every single time. If you don't want to go through the math of actually having to calculate which color is which and blah, blah, blah. Except, of course, the organization already has a brand. So if you have a brand color, there's no question about what to do or not. Yeah. So for example, I want campaign, these are the brand colors. If I'm doing anything, I cannot go outside these colors. So I don't have a problem picking colors when I'm doing office work. So if you have a brand that has selected colors, you don't have a problem. But if you are just freelancing and trying to do anything nice, this is where you actually get to do. So you can pick, you can do a monochrome, bright, dark, or you can do complementary colors opposite each other. You can do split complementary and select two side by side and the one in the middle opposite. Yeah. And then double complementary, two opposite each other on the left and right. And then analogous colors are side by side on the color wheel. So if you notice, what we are having here is a kind of mix of analogous colors, because these colors are kind of side by side on the color wheel. If you check here, you'll see that these colors are kind of side by side on the color wheel, even though they are not a tint or a shade, but you can see that they are similar in some sense. So obviously we're using an analogous vibe for this design, or a triad, a triangular. If you put a triangle on the color wheel, you get a triad, so you can use the three colors. That's that for that. So let's finish up with the color, and we should be done with this. Interesting, this has taken almost 45 minutes, more than 45 minutes actually. Does anyone have any question so far? Okay, I'm assuming.
Hello. Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
So I was saying that what if the brown color is like white and black? How do you now select the color for it? Knowing very well that maybe your background is already white and you don't want it to just be white and black. How do you go about it? How do you select the color
Okay,
that
so
would fit that brand?
Okay, if your brand is black and white, the emphasis is going to then be on, you can use stuff like patterns, you can do stuff like plenty lines to create an interesting element. Or you can actually go with a monochromatic vibe. So if your brand colors are black and white, you can go through the shades of gray. Do you get? I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So let's finish up with this. I'm going to select this color to work with this. Yeah. Now, depending on what our background is going to look like, I'm going to also select this color to work for this. I'm going to change this to black because I want it to stand out. Yeah. I mean, some brands don't like that, but some other times it works. Yeah. Now, so somehow our design is coming alive. And if you notice, there's space everywhere. There's something that Canva does. When you're moving your design up and down, you can see this thing. You can see this square that Canva shows you. It's kind of saying, you know what, don't go beyond this space with your text. Okay? So if my design, if you see, I should make sure that my text doesn't come outside this space. My elements can, but my text shouldn't. Okay? So somewhere here is safe because I can still see my text in between. Yeah? So something like this would also work. Yeah. So imagine that this is actually going all the way down. That can work, but not necessarily. Yeah. So I'm just going to drag this and keep it within the rectangle. To be honest, if you want to be very safe, just keep everything within that rectangle and don't go outside it. Yeah. It's going to work perfectly for you. Same thing here. You don't have to bring it to the edge just because you want to, but if you do, it's still fine. Yeah. So there we have our design so far. Next, you want to put a background because it just looks really weird with the white background. So now you want to pick a background that complements your design as well. Yeah. So this is where another set of challenges will come in. Not challenges. This is really popping, but it doesn't really sit well with me because it's just too bright. So, and because we're going with an analogous vibe, so I want to find something that is kind of within this range. Yeah, so this would have been nice, but this is all these texts here are dark, are not visible. Now, when you come into a situation like this, right, there are two things you can do. You can either change the colors of this thing to black or to a darker color, not necessarily black, to a darker color to make it more obvious, right? So you can see that the texts are a little bit more obvious, but it still isn't working. So what you can do is make this interesting, bring this down. Okay, bring this down. This is another really nice cheat that works almost every single time. Yeah, and keep this within the edge, like I said, right? So what would happen is, no matter what your background is, all your texts are going to show very well. Yeah, so imagine that I change this color to, sorry, not the background. I change the color of this to the previous wine, and I change this text to white. It's going to be very obvious now. Yeah, it's more conspicuous. Although the rectangle shape doesn't exactly work with our design, so you want to pick something that goes with it a little more. So I'm going to delete this. I'll come to elements, because what I'm looking for is not a line. So let me try and find something that works. So I'll search to find something that works. So I'd used this before, although this is a pro, okay, no, so this is free, right? Yeah. So this kind of works with our theme. Is someone saying something? Now, if you notice, this has come over the text. So what you want to do is take it down. So this is what you do. Right click on the shape, and oh, so it's at the back already. It's just that the text that we have on there is white. So I can just change the color of this to, this will have worked, but it's not very obvious. Yeah, so yeah, so this will work perfectly. Yeah. So we have a design already, right?
I have a question.
Okay.
Why did you not start with the background? Like a lot of people usually start with the background. So
Oh, okay. To be honest, I don't have an answer to that question. I think it's just the way I work. I like to get my arrangement first before I think about the colors. So if you notice, I haven't started using black text before I got to changing the colors. Yeah. So I like to get the arrangement of all the elements first before I then start to change colors. I think people work differently. There's no hard and fast rule. Anyone works. If you start with background, you'll probably end up in the same place.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the image with the ladies, is it possible for us to remove the white background?
Yes, it is. What what you want to do to make that happen is, if you have the pro version of Canva, it's just going to happen instantly, I think. So you just select this. Okay, no, you have to do it before you put it in the envelope, just the envelope, in the container. So let's assume I'm selecting this lady, right? I'm going to copy this, paste it in my design. Now, what you want to do is go to, okay, it's not showing me. Okay, so I have to upload it actually. Okay, no, I don't. Yeah. So I'm going to go to effects, background removal. It's just going to remove the background. So another thing that's really important is the type of pictures that you actually use. It's going to determine a lot. For example, imagine that we're using this picture. Let me delete this, for example, and this as well. Imagine that we're using that picture and we're going to use this. We would have a different layout, almost a different layout entirely, right? Because you would want this to be very obvious. So imagine that this would be up. Sorry. And this would be down, maybe because I really want her to show. And I'm going to make her bigger. Yeah. A little bigger. So like this is a completely different layout entirely. Yeah, but it works as well. And maybe if I change the background to something like this, right, it works better with the color scheme, because if you notice in the analogous family, the pink is very close to this, so this can work. And if you do something like this, you might not even need this layout again, that element under. So let's assume that we're bringing this to 50, and we bring this up here. Like right now, I'm noticing that this text is really small, so I might want to increase it because it feels like people won't be able to see it. So I'll bring these two closer together, keep the alignment, and increase it, and ensure that I don't come out of my rectangle of the guide rectangle that Canva has given me. So let's see, where is it? Okay, it's not showing, but at least I know it's not beyond this. Okay, it's somewhere here. So I'm just going to stick to this. Yeah. So this is a completely different design entirely, but it passes the message across. And it just shows how you can actually start from one thing and end up somewhere else, depending on many factors: your image, your text, the amount of information. If you're having a lot of text, for example, right, I'll probably not do something like this. What I'll end up doing will be probably something like this. Sorry, how many are we on this class at this point? Can someone give me, I actually can see, that's what I'm asking.
Pardon?
How many
We are
people are
81.
we in the class now? 81. Okay.
81,
okay,
yeah.
thanks. Okay, thanks. So imagine that we had a lot of text on, instead of just contact and social, we had much more text than what we have here. Instead of doing all of this, I would actually have to create something. I'll have to do something like this, where I'll have a shape under. I'll have this whole rectangle under. Make sure that this lady starts from somewhere up, and then have all my plenty gibberish text in this box. Yeah, you can see all the information, but when you're done, you kind of have an idea that, you know what, all the information that I need to find out about what is happening here is inside this box. Do that. So I'm just going to fill it with Lorem ipsum language. Yeah. So this is something I would typically do if there's more text than usual. And of course, I'll stick to my shape. I'll stick to the pattern that the layout, and the margin. That's the word. The margin that Canva is guiding me with. Yeah. So, any questions at this point? Well, it's 10 o'clock already.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much so far. I think I followed through until my system went off because the NEPA interrupted that light, so I had to join with the phone.
Okay.
Please,
So where did you get missing?
Yes, sir. I want to ask, sir, how did you remove the background of this picture? I mean, the feminine picture here. And
okay,
then,
so it's okay. And then?
Okay, and then, sir, the entirety of the background. I mean, the one that has, I don't know if I call this pink color. I'm not that good with colors.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I'm talking about the background that hosts new arrivals, and then the 40% discount, and the pretty lady there. I mean, how did you change the color? Because initially it was white when we started, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So very simple. For the background, Canva has a background element here. So once you go to background and you click this, it changes automatically. So this is the background I used. You got it?
Okay. Oh, okay,
nice.
Sir.
Now, for the removal of the background, I think it's a pro application. I'm not sure. But if you come here, you click on background remover, it's going to remove. If you don't have it on the basic version, just go to remove the BG, do it online, download it as a PNG, then upload it back on your Canva, and you have that.
Okay, remove bg.com.
I think it's, yeah, I'm not sure. Google it, you'll find the chat. Remove bg.com or remove the BG. I'm not sure which it is. Or just Google how to remove image background online. You'll see it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any
Sorry,
again.
Okay. New arrivals. I mean, initially it was black, then you changed it to, is it pink now?
Wine.
I don't know.
Wine.
Wine, sorry. Yeah.
So I just come to A here, where you see text color. So up here, it's kind of like, you know how Microsoft Word works, where you have your text, size, color, bold, italics, underline. You can change everything to uppercase. You can do the alignment here, left. If you click, it's going to go to the middle. If you click, it's going to go to right. Take it back to justify again and left. Here you have bullet points. Here you have spacing. I'll do spacing next week. Here you have effects. You can add effects to your design. I don't use this a lot because it's just not my style. But you can use it if you like. And then here, you can copy a style of a text and paste on another one. Here you can create a link. You can add a link to your design. And here you can lock something. So if I lock this, for example, I won't be able to move it. Do you get? So I have to unlock it. Now I can move it. Do you get? So I change the color by clicking on text color, coming here. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's how that works. Any other question?
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
P.
Hi, Yukeme.
Hi, Bidia.
Hi, Yukeme. How are you? I can't hear you.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other person has any question, anything that you're unclear about, anything that you just need clarification on? Nobody. Okay, cool. So because it's past 10 already, I was supposed to answer a few questions. So in our next class, I would like us to work together, right? We're going to design something else entirely, but this time we're going to use a template and we're going to change almost everything to make it look very different from what it looked like before. Yeah. So I've dealt with how to start from a blank page. And then I'm also going to deal with designing for different sizes and formats. So imagine this square banner, for example. Maybe we'll continue with this and then I'll design something else entirely. We start with is a rectangle, a square design, change it to rectangle design, and then change it to a portrait design again. Yeah. And then also tackle what template to use, where to start from, and then how to make a logo, and how to achieve minimalist designs as well for our next class, which is on Friday. I'm thinking, because I know some people actually want to like take this further. For some of you, you don't want to take this further. So, okay, so I think I can stop sharing. No questions on this, yeah? All right, so I'm just going to stop sharing and then show my face. So,
sorry, can I ask a question?
Okay, yeah, you can.
All right, apologies for asking later.
No
It's kind of easy. If you don't have if there's no brand color,
yeah,
and you don't have a brand color, there's no specific, or there is a brand color, and you're not using Canva Pro, where you can literally just tag or pin your brand colors to a particular spot. Then how do you, for consistency's sake, how do you determine which? Because sometimes you can come and use something different. Now you want to use another color that stays in your brand. That your recent use, the part for recent use.
Okay.
Recently used colors.
Yeah.
Recently used colors. The color you're using for a specific brand would have probably cleared out.
Yeah.
How best can you maintain consistency in colors if you're not using Pro?
Okay. So you don't even have to use Pro to actually maintain consistency in color. For example, if you have a brand and you have your brand color, for example, so let's say my brand color is this wine color, right? I'm going to click on this, right? I'm clicking on this to show me the color. Yeah. Now you see this code when I highlight over it. 762336.
Yeah.
762336. That is the color code for this color. So it means that if you type in this color code anywhere in the world, it's going to show you this exact same color.
So you have to cram or write out the color code somewhere. So
write it somewhere.
Always.
Yeah. So you can always use it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think that's too difficult. If you so for example, typically black is 0000000, right? And white is FFFFF. You get, so different color codes have different numbers. So you have to just memorize the number of your color and keep it somewhere. Whenever I want to change, whenever I want to create a design, if I click on this and I want to change it to my color, I'll just click on this, type the color code, and it changes to that exact color.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So because of time, I think we will do logo tomorrow. Sorry, on Friday. Another thing that I wanted to say is I think some people might want to take this further and maybe get some form of certification. So I'm thinking, I also want you guys to maybe help me out. I'm thinking of helping some people with some form of certification. So I actually have a company that has registered that can be a legit certificate, right? But beyond the certificate is, before you get the certificate, I'm going to take you through a semi-mentorship. So you're getting the certificate, but you already have a portfolio because of the kind of exercises that we're going to do together. So I think this should be just for a few people, those people who actually want to take this further, maybe get a job as a designer, or just want to have something that you can put on your CV and say, I'm a certified graphic designer. Yeah. So I'm still thinking about how that will work. I'll share if I'm able to figure it out. If not, TBD. All right, so thank you guys so much. Any other question before I say goodbye?
Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we're done. Thank you guys, everyone. Thank you. I hope that you had a nice time. On Friday is the final day. Thank you. I'm really grateful. So on Friday, it's final day for the cohort 1. So we'll go through a logo design. I'm going to design another banner, and then I'll change that banner into different formats. And then I will teach you how to start from the template. And what else? 1, 2, 3. how to achieve my minimalist designs. All right, thank you, everyone. If you have people who still want to join but haven't joined yet, okay, no problem. I'll let you know if when I'm able to come up with something. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing night. God bless you.
Thank you, PDR.
Thank you. Have a good
You're
night.
welcome. You're welcome. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night. Thank you, Stephanie Emoji Jesse, for chatting with me.